Hello, welcome to today's video. I'm doing two things today. I'm testing a new microphone setup. If it doesn't work, you're never going to see this video. There's a lot of deer there, aren't there? So one of the main reasons for using this new microphone is that from talking behind the camera, when the microphone on the GoPro is in front, hopefully this should give the same level of sound as when I'm talking in front of it. That's the theory. One of the other reasons for investing in these microphones is that they're actually wireless, so it's a wireless connection from the microphone to the GoPro, but it actually comes with two microphones that are both wireless. They have a little transmitter which transmits to a little base unit that's attached to the GoPro. So if I'm riding with someone, I can stick a microphone on them, we can ride apart and you get the same level of sound from both of us. Nifty, eh? So it's definitely pretty autumnal now, isn't it? We're not quite winter, but the days of shorts are long gone. So one of the other reasons for coming out this afternoon is I'm a little bit behind on vlogs. Real life has got in the way. I've just been really busy, and a few things have conspired to not give me much time. I'd like to make the wild promise that normal service will be resumed, but I wouldn't like to guarantee it, to be honest. The bag in question is an Alpkit bag. First off, I didn't actually buy it just because it's grey and matches my bike. And secondly, I bought it with my own money. It was not sent to me, it was not given to me, it's my own money. I've been searching for a new bag for some time. Let me come on to why I selected this one and what I think about it, having used it for a couple of months. The first bag I had was a couple of years ago, and that didn't really work out very well. It was a cheap crane one from Lidl, middle aisle. It was okay for putting stuff in, but it was an end access. If you're doing a larger trip, it might be okay if you're putting a sleeping bag or something in it, but it's more of a kind of thing that you would put a whole load of stuff into on a big trim. Also a big trip. Less so for just putting odd bits and bobs in when you're out on your ride. Second one I bought was a reasonably cheap rock boss bag, which is essentially like a small tube with a couple of zips on the top. It was okay, but not very big capacity, it didn't hold very much, and once it had got wet a couple of times, it just totally lost its shape. Didn't really like it, didn't gel with it, so I threw it away. I think trying to find the perfect bag for your handlebars, it's a bit like trying to find the perfect front light. I'm not sure it actually exists. There always seems to be a compromise of one thing or another. So I studied quite a lot of reviews, and what looked to have relatively small number of compromises was this Alpkit gravel bag. So what I used to have on my handlebars was one of those handlebar mounted bottle or food bags, snack bags, that went just about there. When I was obviously doing filming, I could slot the camera into that bag, which was fine, but I have lost it a couple of times from the bag, and it's dropped out, bounced out over bumps, particularly off-road. So that type of bag wasn't perfect for doing YouTube, especially not when your camera bounces out, and obviously when the camera's in it, you can't really use it for much else. You could fit a Snickers bar in it though, in addition to the camera, which was useful. So one of the things I liked about this bag is that on each end there's a mesh pocket, So what you can do is slide the little hand-mounted tripod that this GoPro is mounted on into that end mesh pocket. So far seems to hold it reasonably securely. Not as easy to slot the camera in and out of, but it does hold it quite secure when you're not filming, which is handy. If you're not going to be filming for a while, I can put the whole camera within the bag, which is even better. Perfect. So this is probably a suitable point at which to stop and tell you a bit more about the bag, show you a bit more about the bag. So let's have a look in a bit more detail. First off, it mounts with Velcro straps around the handlebars there. The straps themselves are pretty good, they're fairly secure, and they're made of a material which I don't think will massively mark the handlebars. When I had the bag first off, it was quite sturdy, it was quite square, but I've been out in the rain a couple of times, and with a bit of use, the basic material, which is, it's not totally waterproof, but the basic material, I think it's Cordura, has actually gone quite soft quite quickly, more quickly than I imagined. So it's quite flexible, a little bit like the one I didn't like did. It's gone quite soft, loses its shape. I'm actually using it, you can see just under there, which I haven't actually spoken about properly yet, but that's the Restrap bumper bar, which is designed to sort of keep this type of bag going forward a little bit to stop it bouncing against the handlebars. And you can see there that with virtually nothing in it, all it's got in it is a very lightweight gilet. It's actually losing its shape and it's gone curved. More or less one of the first things I did with it was in the base of the bag. I actually made, I got some quite rigid plastic and cut a base that was the same size as the base of the bag. So that at least keeps the base straight and level. And I'm thinking I might have to do the same with the back just to keep it in shape. I'd rather a bag kept its shape personally. I guess if it's flexible, do you ram stuff in it? I don't know. So for me, I'd personally rather it was more rigid. And I think maybe some rigid plastic in it to keep it shape from the first place would be a good move. But the things I like about it, let me take these gloves off and I can show you a bit better. So things I like about it, on the front you got these bungee straps. So as I did a few days ago, I actually just put a gilet underneath there, and I put some arm warmers on there actually as well, which was quite nifty. As long as you put them in there and secure them behind it and just make sure they're held there, that seems okay. This is something I don't like. If the bag was full, obviously it's easily adjustable, which is great, but when you're using a bag in a smaller capacity, this is just hanging loose. So look, it's almost touching the tyre, it just gets in the way, it flaps. It would be nice if there was something around there, around the strap, just to hold that at the length when it's not in use. But what I do is maybe just tuck it behind there. Not ideal, but it could be better. Under the bottom here, you've got, as you can see, a pull toggle, which is adjustable so that you can pull these bungees tighter if you wish. If you unclip it, you can see now the bag actually has quite a big capacity. It's listed as being 5 to 8 litres capacity. I'm a little sceptical, but it's 8 litres. My measure is a 5 litre fuel can, which seems to be not much smaller than that is, but I haven't measured it. At the end here, these are the mesh side pockets that I explained about. They've been pretty good for holding. I put gels in those the other week, actually put some gels in those so I could get to them easy, but I can just slide the handle of the camera in there and it does seem to hold it reasonably well. So as you can see, I've just actually folded the top of it backwards this time, and you can see it's nice and neat. It's a neat bag, doesn't interfere with, as I've got here, the Garmin, doesn't interfere with the light. you can still get to it reasonably well. And it's quite a practical bag. I like the general size, I like the general shape. So overall, I'm pleased I got it. As I've touched upon, a couple of things that would improve it, but overall, pretty happy with it. I'm going to drop a link down below to the Alpkit website. As I say, I bought this bag with my own money. There's no particular benefit for me if you buy it, but it gives me a warm feeling in my heart if you do. If my review has helped you make that decision, it gives me a warm feeling in my heart. Right, as it's started to get quite cold now and quite dark, it gets dark early now, doesn't it? It's 2:30, 3 o'clock, and already the light is going. It's not bright. So back on the road back now. Just stayed stationary there for a couple of minutes. Surprising this time of year how quickly it gets cold, isn't it? So whilst we're talking about bags, as usual, I'm interested to know what you guys use. What style of bags, what size of bags you have. Do you have a handlebar bag? With a few longer trips I've got planned over winter and a few bigger days out that I'd like to do, if time permits. My other thought in having this style of bag, keeping an extra jacket, waterproof, a few bits and bobs in there for a longer day out in the winter ride, makes sense. And you know, at this time of year, sometimes it's quite hard to plan and know what to wear, because you may well be leaving in darkness in a few weeks, quite cold, and then 3 hours later it could be quite warm and the sun's out and it's dry. So having somewhere to stash an extra jacket, extra layers and a waterproof makes sense. Obviously the downside is it ain't aero, is it? Stupidly, having just told you about putting waterproofs in the handlebar bag and what sense it makes, I haven't got one in it right now. I've only got a gilet. See if I can beat it at home, and not get too wet. I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid getting wet. Annoying, isn't it? I actually planned to do another 10 miles. Didn't look at the forecast, but I wasn't expecting it to rain. On the subject of rain, as it is now November, it is okay to fit mudguards. Obviously you can't fit them before November, that would be folly. So before I get too wet, I'm going to stop, put this camera inside the handlebar bag and hot put it home. Hopefully see you again in a few days time, might be a week's time, but I'll see you soon. Thanks as always for watching. If you're new to the channel, give us a like and a subscribe, it really helps. Thanks a lot, see you soon. Bye.